What's up, folks? I'm Kendall Desmond, and welcome to a new episode of TNE, the Nirvana Experience. And today we just gonna talk about a couple things that I got on my mind. It's not like the Let's Talk episode where I talk about stuff that happened in my past life. In my past, we're gonna talk about some of my favorite wrestling moments, Mortal Kombat, iPhone. So we're just gonna get into it. Before I even start, I want to give a special shout out. Uh, to my friend Capri. You know what I'm saying? She just graduated college. I think she said she's finna agree to take up data entry or cybersecurity. I forget what she said she about to do, but I just want to give a shout out to her because I was gonna shout out and congratulations on this week's episode of TNE. First and foremost, bro. Tomorrow, after 4 years of waiting, tomorrow, Mortal Kombat 1 finally fucking come out, bro. Bro, that's why I'm recording today. Today, as of right now, I'm recording on September 13th, which is a 2023, which is a Wednesday. I usually record on Thursday or whatever, but I'm gonna do the show early because I'm finna get lost in the sauce. I say a good 10 hours on Mortal Kombat nonstop because that's one of my favorite franchises of all time, bro. I've been waiting for so long for that game to come out that I be finding myself just watching um gameplay reveal trailers and launch trailer and watching folks play the beta. I wasn't able to play the beta because I'm on PC, and the beta was only for people who pre-ordered the game on console, PlayStation 5 and the Xboxes. So people was able to play the game, at least see how I feel. Not me. I ain't get to play no beta or nothing. I'm just struggling. And bro, I'm too ready. Like one of my favorite characters beside, like I got Kano and Shang Tsung. Those are my two favorite characters in Mortal Kombat. And Shang Tsung is a pre-order bonus. And bro, I'm so ready for that man to be I'm so ready for that man to be in the game so I can play with that man. The main thing I like about Shang Tsung is you can't trust that man. Like at the end of Mortal Kombat, like the DLC expansion for Mortal Kombat 11, the aftermath expansion, he was doing stuff, and folk were like, "We can't trust you, Shang." So he was like, "No," he was like, "I'm not gonna do this or so." But he ended up betraying everybody in the end, like everybody thought he was. Them folk thought he was gonna. They knew he was gonna do it, but they still fell for it, and he still betrayed them for. I love this shit. But and another thing I like about him, he a sorcerer. He like in the original lore, him and Ermac the reason for Melina being created and stuff like that. But yeah, man. And this Mortal Kombat, he got some type of claws or something on his hand, like it reminded me of Vega from the Street Fighter series, like how Vega got that one metal claw that he be using, or what a metal claws on his hand he be using. Shang Tsung got something similar to that. I don't know, but either way it go. Either way it go, he getting played with, no homo. So I'm like, bro, I can't wait to play that John, bro. But yeah, fool, bro, I'm gonna tell you what made me mad yesterday. Well, it didn't make me mad, but I'm like, damn, bro, come on. Yesterday, uh, Apple did the, they annual Apple event where they show the new iPhone and AirPods and all type of stuff. So they showed they announced the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Pro. Bruh, the only difference from what I see is they remove the mute button. They call it the action button now, so you can have it assigned to whatever action you want it to be. So it ain't gonna be no more mute buttons on your phone. By default though, if you push the button, it'll automatically put your phone in silent mode, but you can have it set to other shit. And they took away the regular, Apple iPhone charger. So now all new iPhones going forward from the 15 on up gonna use USB-C, bro. That's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Because what about all the folks that's like got all them damn old iPhone chargers and they can't even use them with the new one? So I'm like, man, at this point, it just these folks just selling you the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm, bro. Then these folks show Resident Evil 4 uh to be able to play on the iPhone 15. I think they supposed to be adding like ray tracing to one of the features to make the games run smoother and stuff like that. Man, look, iPhone gonna pre-order on the 15th, and they're gonna be released on September 22nd. And bro, I'm not getting it. It defeat the purpose. I'm not getting that junk at all. For the simple fact, I got the iPhone 14 Pro, bro, and I don't see nothing. I don't see the difference. I don't know what the difference is. Like I know it's a difference, but it ain't a vast difference, like an upgrade from the phone that I got now at all. Now, if you one of them old like people that get like an older phone, like an iPhone, I said from a 13 Pro on backwards, yeah, getting a 14 or 15 would be a substantial upgrade, bro. But as far as like people who can have the phone that came out last year, my suggestion is you just save your money and don't worry about getting a new iPhone, because they're just a waste of fucking time and money. And I just can't believe that the folks doing this shit like that, bro. Like it's at the point now. It's at the point now. Apple only doing that shit because, like, all right, I'm gonna say this. I understand that adding some of the new features to like their iPads and iPhones and all that type of stuff, it will require like you paying a little bit more extra money. But at the same time, bro, they inflate their prices because they know people gonna go out there and buy that shit because it's Apple. Now don't get me wrong, I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, I got a Mac Mini and everything. I love Apple. I got AirPods, but my thing with me, bro. I'm not finna pay hundreds of dollars, almost thousands of dollars for a Apple product that I don't see what's the benefit or purpose of it is, bro. Ain't no way in hell I'm finna pay $1,200 for a phone that I already get, bro. People can easily trade their 14 Pro Max in to get a discount, like trade it in and get like a cheaper price for the 15. But I don't even want to do that shit, to be honest. Oh, got time here, man. I've been trying to take my mind off of playing Mortal Kombat, bro, for the last past week. I come home from work, I be turning on my computer. I'm like, all right, I'm finna sit here and play a game or something, just take my mind off of it. Every single game that I played, bro, I could not. I was like, I don't even want to play this shit. I was like, I'm just waiting for Mortal Kombat. I don't want to play none of this shit. I don't want. I even tried. Like, I had uninstalled Mortal Kombat 11, the last Mortal Kombat game that came out. I even tried playing that junk. I was looking at this. I'm like, I'm tired of playing this shit. I don't even want to. I'm like, man, I quit that junk so damn fast and turned that shit up. I'm like, I don't even want. I don't even want to play that shit no more. So I turned that off. I'm like, God damn. Um, and I'm like one of my favorite shows growing up. One of them that's still in my top three favorite shows of all time. Well, I'm gonna say top five because Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, my top two favorite shows of all time. But right behind it is that 70s show. That's one of my favorite shows. And I got four favorite characters on there. Hyde, Eric Foreman, Michael Kelso, and Red Foreman. And you know what's so fucked up about this whole situation? I'm finna talk about that Danny Masterson uh case. He was convicted at first, like a couple years ago. It's this show called The Ranch on Netflix, and I love that show. That's one of my favorites. And it got it mainly got Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson. They the two main characters from that 70s show that and they play brothers on The Ranch. And that show it's a real fast show. We got Sam Elliott as their dad and everything. That show real good. And in the midst of I think like the second or third season, they end up killing Danny Masterson character off the show because his allegations of, raping two women back in the days in the early 2000s. And, to me, the show just wasn't the same without him on there. His name was Rooster on the show. And the show just it wasn't the same no more. And I never understood why men in power, because whether you want to believe him being a TV show star, whatever, he was a man in power. He had influence. He was famous. Men that had that type of influence or that type of power, bro, they can almost get whatever woman they want. I never understood why when you have that much access to women, especially pretty women that you normally won't have access to if you weren't in your position, why would you want to go and sexually assault and rape a woman? I never understood this shit with these celebrity dudes. Like he needs to go out there and be like, I think it's because once you be in the position for so long, like when you first get famous, you be like, all right, everything new and all that type of shit. But once you be a celebrity for a substantial amount of time, and you try to talk to a woman, and for whatever reason she ain't into you, your ego get destroyed. You be like, what the fuck? Do you know who I am? I'm like, bro, I can have any woman I want, and then they be on some other shit. So and then and then just some of these niggas, they just on some weird shit anyway. So according to the women that said he raped them, he's supposed to have drugged them folks first. So they were like they I forget what they said exactly. I think they said one of the women said he drugged her, and then after she was like drugged up and out of her mind, she was raped. So this was supposed to happen. Like he did that to two different women that we know of in 2001 and in 2003. Bruh, that's at the height of his success on that 70 show. At the height. That's around about because the 70 show ended in 2006. So, and the show started in 98. The show started in 98. So 2001, 2003, that's in the smack dead prime years of that 70 show when it was like at its peak. So for him to be doing that shit during that time period, that shit is like, bro, that shit is crazy as hell, bro. Like, the fuck? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I never understood why men in that position do that type of shit. He ain't the only one. There's a lot of them weird ass, creepy ass dudes that's in Hollywood that do shit to these women, especially when a woman trying to pursue her dream of being an actress or a musician or something like that, and these dudes that's in a position that can help them become who they want to be like, all right, well, shit, I can help you put you on, but you got to do such and such and such and such. And even if like some women will do this shit, even if they don't feel comfortable doing it, be like, well, I do want this fame and all that type of shit. So she'll fuck them and shit. And then soon the dude get what they want, they be like, well, I never had no intention on doing that shit. No, I just want to fuck. And then some dudes they'll be like, if you want to get on, I'm finna you gotta do such and such, and they just go on there like rape their ass and shit. And I never understood this shit. So the judge, when did they do the I think it was the other day, a couple days ago. The judge finally the jury found him guilty, and the judge the Los Angeles judge sentenced this nigga to 30 years to life in prison. This fool finna be in jail for the rest of his life. And he already in his 40s, I think. So he'll be in his 70s if he get out. And this shit, bro, this shit ain't worth it. Ain't no woman worth your freedom, bro. Bro, at the end of the day, if you try to get a woman and she ain't into you, it's so many other women out here. He be like, man, fuck this shit. I just gonna talk to somebody else. Because 1,000 no's can equals 1,000 yeses from other women. So like, I don't understand. Like, he got what he deserved. Like, if he guilty from this shit, if he actually did this shit back then, he absolutely deserved what he got. 30 years of life in jail. Because I don't think no man should do shit like that to a woman. One of the I forgot what episode it was, but I know one of my episodes I did a whole show based on human trafficking and rape victims and all that type of shit. So I ain't into that type of shit at all. And then another thing you gotta think about, if he did do that, right? If he did do that, those are the only two women that came forward. So they can't be the only two women that he did that shit to. He had to do this shit to a whole bunch of other women, and they were just either one, too scared to get to come forward, or two, they got paid off. So I think about all that type of shit too. And one of the district attorney, I think his name was Reinhold Mueller or something like that. I'm trying to remember his name. Bro, that man sat here and said he was consistent in the manner in which he forcibly raped each one of his victims. That means he did the exact same thing to both of the women, and like he was just really raping these folks. And you know what the crazy part about that whole thing? During that whole trial and everything, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they wrote like a character letter to the judge. From what they say, they was writing. Cause they did a video. They made a video apologizing shit after he was sent, like after his sentence and shit. And they were like, what they did, the reason they wrote the character letters because they were trying to get the judge to understand the type of person that they known for 25 years, they friend and all that type of shit. Look, I'm gonna give y'all an example. Me and Jay, we've been knowing each other for years. One of my best friends, my brother. I never know what he's truly doing because I'm not with him every day. You know, he's married with a wife and kids and all that type of shit. So he might be into some shit that I'm like, what the fuck? You never know. Same thing, vice versa. Like he it's shit about me that he don't know and what I'm into and all that type of shit. I ain't into no weird shit. That shit weird, but like I'm just saying, you never know. Your best friend, even your brothers and sisters, you know these folks your whole entire life, but you never know what they truly into. You never know what type of shit that they like capable of and all that type of shit. So for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis to like write them character letters, bro, it made it seem like that they was on his side and just trying to get that nigga free and shit. And I understand from their point of view because that's their friend and all that type of shit. But man, I hold my niggas accountable. Like if you on some rape type shit, I'm like nigga, hell nah, you bullshit. Like nigga, what the fuck wrong with you? Like I won't be doing none of that type of shit. So, like, nah. So they made a video and they were talking about they let us one written to keep him out of jail and to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling and shit like that. I'm like, man. And, you know, there's some people that ain't even accepting that apology. They were like, the only reason they even made that video is because he got sentenced and got found guilty. And they were like, if he would have never got found guilty and never got sentenced, they would have never been making the video, which is the absolute truth. And you know what's so crazy about that? Ashton Kutcher got a foundation where I forgot the name of his foundation. He got a foundation where he like combat human trafficking and rape victims and stuff. And I forgot the name. Fuck, I forgot the name of that joint. Hold on, I'm finna find out. I think it's called Hope or something. It's like it's I forgot. But he on normal he fight against this type of shit. He even went to court. He even went to court and like made a whole like little speech and speaking up on somebody's behalf about uh uh sex trafficking for children abuse and all that type of shit. Like and for him to defend Danny Masterson, that's how you know they friends and shit like that. That's what it's called. It's called Thorn. It's called Thorn. He got a foundation called Thorn. And he started there with his ex-wife, his first wife, Demi Moore. And I think he said they were watching like a documentary. They were watching a documentary and about kids getting sex trafficked in Cambodia. That's what it was. He was talking about some folks. They were watching him and Demi Moore watching some kids get sex trafficked. A documentary about sex trafficking in Cambodia, and that's why they started the foundation. I think it was started like in 2012, 2011, some shit like that. But yeah, though. So for him to defend that man like that, that's how you know that was that man friend and everything. Especially when he got a whole foundation on the premise of combating those type of behaviors anyway. That's that Hollywood shit for you, bro. I mean, if we knew half the stuff that went on in Hollywood, man, and all the shit that went on, and man, a lot of folks want to be as revered as they are, bro. Especially some of these like executives and these actors and these rappers and these singers, bro. If you looked into their private life, you wouldn't be, man, because they borderline be worshiping. Like I know I love Michael Jackson as far as him being a singer, and truly deep down in my soul, I believe that he didn't do none of the stuff that he was accused of. But in actuality, I really don't know because I wasn't there with him. But it's just a lot of proof that came out, like people coming out saying that he was lied on to get taken down out of his position of power and shit like this. So that would make me believe that he was innocent of shit that he was charged with. Especially, bro, think about it. The FBI investigated this nigga for 10 years. The FBI investigated Michael Jackson for 10 straight years. Turned his house upside down, tracking his phone call, looking at his looking at his voicemail, like listening to his voicemail, everything that you can possibly do. Taking pictures of this man, private parts, like everything. 10 years straight and didn't find shit. The one thing about this country, if the feds want you, bro, they gonna get your ass. They're gonna get your ass. If the feds want you, they gonna get you. They gonna do some investigating. They gonna find something to get your ass. They couldn't find absolutely shit on Michael Jackson after 10 years of investigating this nigga. And within those 10 years, all the folks that came out that supposed to been on did something too, came out like, my mama made me do this for money, and my dad made me do this for money, and he never did nothing to me, and all that type of shit. Like these folks literally came out. Literally came out and admitted that they was lying. So like, and then years later, after this man passed on, like Mike Jackson he passed on now for 16 years. Wait a minute. I think it's 15. Yeah, 16 years because he passed on when I was 16. So I'm 30. So it's 15 years, going on 16 years. And bruh, Mike Jackson he been dead over a decade. And these folk, the same people who, what's his name, Wade or whatever, same folk that came out and said that Mike Jackson didn't do shit to him. Now they come back out like a couple years ago, came out with the Finding Neverland documentary, trying to come up with new conspiracy talking about Mike Jackson did do this shit. Man, let that man rest, bro. His soul is with the Most High again. So like, it ain't even worth even bringing this type of shit up no more. Especially when you already admitted that he ain't do shit to you. Like, your shit, I wouldn't even, if I was a lawyer, I wouldn't even take on that shit. I'm like, motherfucker, you already done said that he ain't do that shit. I ain't no way I'm gonna win this shit. But at the end of the day, like all people, well, I ain't gonna say all people, but like majority of the people, they're obsessed with the dollar. And they still trying to get money off this man when he paid most of these folks off. If I was Mike, I would never settle shit. But I understand, like, he was like, his lawyers advised him to go on to settle and pay the money so he won't have to go to court. Dangerous album had just came out. He's about to get to go on tour and all that type of shit. He paid them for $20 million. That's a lot of fucking money. $20 million. Bruh, ain't no way in hell I'm paying somebody $20 million if I ain't do shit. It ain't no way, bruh. It ain't no way. Cause I'm like, bruh, that, like, to some people that's like admitting guilt. You know what I'm saying? It's like admitting guilt, and I just can't do this shit. So, cause like $20 million in 1991, 1992 is the equivalent of $45 million today. You know, if you factor in like inflation and that type shit. Man, ain't no way in fuck mode. But like I said, the only reason I believe that Mike Jackson was innocent because it's too much evidence out there that's proved his innocence. Too much evidence. It ain't the case with Danny Masterson and niggas like him, like Harvey Weinstein and all that type of shit. It's bruh. He did this shit. Well, I ain't gonna say he did it because I wasn't actually there, but if he did do that shit, he got exactly what he deserved, bro. He got exactly what he deserved, bro. So, let's move on. So, all right. So I had asked Jay. I was like, "Hey, bro, give me some ideas for this week episode of TNE." And one of the ideas that he threw out was like my top 3 wrestling moments. It's so many moments of wrestling that I love, so many, and it was so hard. It was so hard for me to just narrow this shit down to 3. But so what I did was just pick my top memory, like the top 3 moments that had an impact on one wrestling and me personally. Uh, let's see, which one I want to start with. All right, we're gonna start. We're gonna start off with number 3. Uh, Anybody that's a wrestling fan, that's a millennial, that's right about my age, they know about the Monday Night Wars, war WCW versus WWE back in the day. And, WCW was beating WWE ass in the ratings for 83 straight weeks and all that type of shit like that. WWE had to create the Attitude Era because they had to lead, like, during the early 90s, during the New Generation era, they had, the WWE, they shit was more cartoony. Like, they had, like, hero type wrestlers. And there was only a handful that was, like, relatable, being Bret Hart, uh, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, who am I forgetting? Razor Ramon. So it was like a handful of Psycho C. It was like a handful of wrestlers that won a gimmick, like cartoony. You know what I'm saying? Hulk Hogan, he was the, you know, say your prayers and eat your vitamins type. You know, they were doing that type shit back then. But people, by the time 1997 came along, people weren't really into that type shit no more that they was in the 80s and the early 90s. So they had, WWE had to come up with some, or they was going, go out of business compared to WCW. In come the Attitude Era. So Attitude Era start. Steve Austin is the face of the Attitude Era. D-Generation X, they, take off. And one of the most pivotal moments to me that impacted me with and the face of wrestling is and Survivor Series of '97. I was a little kid when that happened, but being grown and over the course of years watching documentaries about the screw job and everything, at Survivor Series '97, Bret Hart was he was the WWE champion. He was supposed to drop the title to Shawn Michaels, but and Vince McMahon was scared that he was going Vince McMahon didn't want Bret to keep the title and take it to WCW. So he wanted him to lose to Shawn. Shawn become the new face of WWE and become WWE champion and all that type of stuff. But he didn't want to do that shit. I'm just giving a summary of it. And Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels didn't like each other already in real life at all. But they had such good chemistry in the ring that, it was undeniable when they got in the ring with each other. So they just had to keep working together. But personally, especially during that time period, Shawn Michaels was an asshole. That man was a dick. And they didn't get along. So Bret contract was up. And he's about to make the move to WCW. And this where the Montreal Screwjob started. And what's so fucked up about that? Bret Hart didn't know what was about to happen was finna happen to him. They're in the middle of the match. Shawn Michaels put Bret Hart in the sharpshooter, and Vince told the referee to ring the bell to to basically make it seem like that Bret lost and screwed him over and shit. And it was Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Vince McMahon, all of them had something to do with that shit. But that moment had such a huge impact on wrestling to the point where like they still this was 20-some years ago, and I'm talking about it still. Like it was just a huge bro. It was a major turning point in the Attitude Era, bro. Like they changed a lot of shit. Like, bro. And the main thing I like about this, especially during the Attitude Era, bro, everything was kind of, I ain't gonna say everything, but mostly everything was kind of realistic. Like you can relate to it. That's what made Steve Austin so relatable. That what made him so popular. Because everybody got a job and everybody want to be like, man, fuck you to their boss and beat their boss ass and shit. That what made him so popular. He was just like a blue collar motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So like that was the turning point for WWE. And the Montreal Screwjob, like I said, was a major turning point in the Attitude Era because it helped create that new era of realism and you seeing what's happening behind scenes on that unfold on camera. And it's a shame that Bret Hart career ended the way it did to Goldberg, but that's a different thing. But like I said, that right there, like the Montreal Screwjob, that's one of my favorite moments of wrestling because of the impact that it had on the WWE and what it did for the Attitude Era. My second most favorite moment in wrestling is the whole Triple H versus Shawn Michaels rivalry when HBK came back from his injury in 2002. It started at SummerSlam 2002 and it ended in 2004 or some shit like that. But they had so many good matches. I have two favorite matches, bro. Two favorite matches. 2004 Royal Rumble when they had their match then. But my most favorite one, the one I'm finna talk about now, is the match they had at Armageddon in 2002, the 3 Stages of Hell match. They're one of the best matches I ever seen in my life, my personal opinion. All right, so one the stipulation, they had the 3 Stages of Hell. You have to go through 3 different types of matches. So the first match was a street fight, the second match was a steel cage, and the third match was a ladder match. If it came to a third match, if one person won one match and another person won the second match, the third match was a tiebreaker, which was the ladder match, right, bro? At this point, Shawn Michaels came into the WWE and everything. and he was back. He back wrestling. He wasn't all the way full time yet, but he was back wrestling and shit. And the build up to that match was what would stick out to me more than the actual match. But I remember watching Monday Night Raw and watching because they remember at this time HBK was the World Heavyweight Champion, and I remember watching Monday Night Raw where Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee, and Triple H had to like earn his way into a match, and if he had a match against Rob Van Dam, on Monday Night Raw, and it was for the number one contender spot. And if RVD would have won, he would have faced Shawn Michaels at Armageddon, all type of shit. But Triple H ended up winning to secure his spot for the main event of Armageddon. And I remember it was a segment backstage where Shawn Michaels came to Ric Flair and was like basically saying, if he ain't no bitch, meet me outside in the street and all that type of shit. So Triple H was like, they like later on in the show, they showed Triple H in the parking lot area of the arena, and he outside looking for Shawn Michaels and shit. But Shawn Michaels, he couldn't see him. And when he was about to get ready to leave, he was like, yeah, see, he's scared. He didn't even show up. When he was about to get ready to leave, Shawn Michaels, jumping them and shit, and they was outside fighting in the parking lot. And the thing that I remember, Triple H was in a dumpster. Shawn Michaels had whooped his ass into a dumpster. And HBK had went to the top of an 18-wheeler trailer and jumped off that motherfucker with an elbow and landed on Triple H inside of the dumpster. And I remember when they showed the when they panned the camera, like when they went over there with the camera to look inside the dumpster, was Shawn Michaels and Triple H was both of them was like unconscious, and you saw Triple H like fidgeting and shit, like that shit really killing his ass. I love this shit. Then the actual match itself. All right, so the first match, like I said, was a street fight. Bruh, Shawn Michaels Triple H was fighting their gen like like they hated each other in real life, even though they best friends. Bruh, I remember when Triple H tried, it was one point in the match where Triple H tried to like suplex like Shawn Michaels over the ropes and through the table, but Shawn Michaels ended up bringing him back in the ring and shit. Bruh, the main part about that match, the street fight, main thing I like about it is when Triple H had brought out their 2x4 and it was like wrapped in like barbed wire and shit. He lit that joint on fire. And shit. And he tried to hit Shawn Michaels with that hoe, but he would garbage hell and miss. Bruh. Ric Flair, in my opinion, is the best manager ever for Triple. Like, bruh, I love champions. Like, I love wrestlers that have a manager with them that they be doing shit to interfere and get in the match. And then the wrestler win, be like, yeah, I beat his ass all by myself. I love this shit. And it all started with Triple H and Ric Flair. And Ric Flair tried to help Triple H or whatever. But Shawn Michaels ended up hitting Triple H in the face with the 2x4 that was on fire. Ended up hitting him in the forehead and bust him open. But Triple H still won, like hit him with the pedigree, and he won the first match. So the second match was a steel cage match. Like all this shit consecutive. Like it ain't no you win this match, take a break, then come back out. Now all this shit consecutive. Like you finish that first match, you go straight into that second one. Second match was a steel cage. Bruh, Triple H was beating the dog shit out of Shawn Michaels in that damn steel cage. And one thing about this storyline in particular, especially during the early part of it, Triple H used to do shit to hurt Shawn Michaels back. Cause that was one of the major parts of this story was Shawn Michaels coming back after a devastating back injury and shit. And Triple H, like it was one part on Monday Night Raw that I forgot to mention that he had a steel chair open, like you from great to sit down in the steel chair. He had that joint open in the ring, but got Shawn Michaels and did a back break on that motherfucker, landing his ass right on the edge of the chair and shit, like doing green shit like that. I like, bro, I love this shit. But back to the steel cage, man. Like I said, both of them folk was like basically Triple H was mainly whooping Shawn Michaels' ass in the match, but it was like it came to the part where I forget. I know Shawn Michaels won that match, but I forgot how he won. I think he landed on Triple H through a table or something. I forget. But my favorite match, the last one, was the ladder match. Now, anybody that know wrestling history in WWE, from my understanding, the first ladder match was Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10 for the Intercontinental title. I've seen that match about 4-5 times, and I had to say it's up there with my top 10. I had put that in my top 10 favorite matches of all time because that shit was fire here. Because Shawn Michaels in the 90s, bro, was a different monster, bro. He was one. I understand why folk like, especially now. I go back and watch some of his old matches from like the early, like the 90s, the mid to late 90s. I understand why they say he one of the best wrestlers ever. Because Shawn Michaels, he was that nigga. But that ladder match, I remember watching this back in the day when I was a little kid. My mama had bought me the pay-per-view and shit. I really thought that Shawn Michaels was finna keep his title, especially when Shawn Michaels had grabbed the ladder and oh shit, when he had hit Triple H in the back with that jump. He had hit Triple H in the back with that jump and all that type of shit. He had suplexed that man on ladder and everything. But it was tables. It was 4 tables. My favorite part of that match was the ending of the match. It was 4 tables stacked up outside the ring, right? HBK and Shawn, Triple H, both of them was on 2 different ladders, fighting each other, trying to reach for the title. But Triple H ended up pushing Shawn Michaels off the ladder. Now, both of them was on the same ladder, ended up pushing Shawn Michaels off the ladder, and he fell through all four of the table, like stacked up on the outside of the ring and shit. I think it was like 3 or 4 tables or some shit like that. And he pushed Shawn Michaels off the ladder, and he fell through all the tables and shit on the outside of the ring off the ladder. And Triple H won and took his title because he got his head. Shawn Michaels couldn't hold it down, and he became world heavyweight champion again. I'm like, bro, I remember watching that match on the pay-per-view, going through all types of emotion. That's the main thing I love about wrestling, bro. Because if you invested in them wrestlers and invested in the match and shit, that shit will have you going through all types of different emotions, bro. And I love that shit. And this one of my favorite moments in wrestling, bro. Like that whole rivalry in general, that whole rivalry. And my number 1 favorite wrestling moments. Number 1 is when Roman Reigns became Tribal Chief. I love that shit. I love that shit so much, bruh. Bruh. Can't nobody tell me nothing about the Tribal Chief. And then the thing about it, bruh, what's so crazy about it? When he was calling himself the head of the table, I ain't too much care for him then because I ain't understand. But when I started seeing Roman actually whooping in, telling story with his facial expressions and like dealing with his family and going against other folks, and he started calling himself the Tribal Chief, it was a fucking rap. It was a fucking rap. And the main thing I love about this shit, the main thing I love about this time, like this current run of Roman Reigns as a Tribal Chief, it's been so many times when me and Jay been watching the PLEs and the pay-per-views and shit like that, and we talking about making bets on who gonna win and shit. He be talking about that Roman finna lose and shit, and Roman hold down. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Bro, the best moment was earlier this year, WrestleMania 39, Night 2, the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the WWE title and the Universal title. I was at bruh house. I was at Jay's house, bruh, watching the main event. In my head, I was like, man, I know Roman finna hold it down. I know he finna win it hoe. But bruh, everything involving the bloodline, everything involving Kevin Owens, what's his name, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, bruh. I'm watching this match, bro, over there, over Jay House. His whole his whole family was watching this shit along with me. everybody in that house was invested in that match because it was so, bruh. We yelling at the TV like these niggas can actually hear us, bruh. That's how invested we are in this match, bruh. I remember sitting at that table where I always sit there. Every time I go over Jay house, I always sit in that same spot at that table. I remember sitting at that table watching that match. I'm like, man, bruh, I really thought Roman was finna lose his title. I really thought he would lose. I was quiet as hell, and well, what was making me so mad about that? Leading up to that match, Jay had already told me he would be playing that song, that Drake song. I don't know what song that is that he was playing, but Drake was in the song talking about Cody turn me up. So he kept talking about he gonna be singing that song on the way to the house, and all the time he can't wait to play this shit. I'm like, man, I really don't want to hear that shit, bro. I promise I don't. Watching this match, seeing Roman get his ass beat, he getting hit with crossroads and Cody Cutter and all that type of shit, bro. Man, kicking out all this shit, making me have a heart attack. He kicking out at the very last second, like right when it's finna hit 3, he kicking out. I'm like, oh my fucking goodness, bro. I thought I was about to, like, my fucking chest, man, my heart racing and shit. I'm like, man, all right, bro. When the Usos came out, his cousin, Roman Reigns' cousin, the Usos, I thought, I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Fuck. Let's go and get this shit started. I thought he about to win then. But then Sami Zayn, jealous ass, and Kevin Owens, jealous ass came out and was fighting the Usos and all that type of shit. And then Kevin Owens hit the starter on Roman Reigns. Hey, I ain't even saying a lie. When Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick on Roman Reigns in that match, I was like, he nailed that hoe. He killed his ass with that. I thought it was over with. But nah, it went over with because he Tribal Chief. Tribal Chief, get out this shit. That's what I be talking about. Bro, Cody Rhodes hit this man with 3 crossroads, bro. And he was about, I was like, yep, this is it. It's over with. This man finna lose. But let's go back to what I said earlier. I love when wrestlers have a manager that get in the way and do bullshit. And that's exactly what Paul Heyman did. Distracted the referee, getting in there and did some bullshit. And Solo Sikoa came in and hit that Samoan spike on Cody Rhodes. I'm like, oh my fucking goodness. And then Roman Reigns did that spirit and pinned the man and won. I was like, oh my, bruh. I was so fucking happy, bruh. Bruh. I can't even tell you the excitement I felt when they hit 3 and his music started playing and he held down his title. Because the look on Jay's face was fucking priceless, bruh. Because y'all don't understand how this man was talking shit the whole build up to that match, the whole fucking night, bruh. And I really thought that I was finna lose. I really thought that shit, bruh. I remember when that man won, I was trying to get his baby to throw up the fucking 1 and all that type of shit. Cause I was so happy, bruh. That's one of my favorite wrestling moments, bruh. For the simple fact, like all the emotion that was involved, the build up to it, and just how it made me and Jane interact with each other and with the family and all that type of shit. Like that's why I love wrestling so much, because it's shit like that. And man, bro, I love that shit. That's my number one favorite wrestling moment. Currently, like as a current modern day wrestling, that's my number one favorite wrestling moment. I love that shit. Well, what time is? I've been talking to y'all for about an hour. Talking about I get lost talking about wrestling, bro. I just get lost talking about it. But as always, like I always say, to the people who listen to TNE, the Nirvana experience, I super appreciate y'all. Uh, to my new listener, to anybody new listening, I appreciate you taking your time out to listen to the show. To my reoccurring listeners, same thing. I super appreciate y'all, because not only did you take your time out to listen to the show and listen to me and listen to me talk and listen to me and Jay talk, or whoever I have on the show talk, you came back and did it again for the second week. So I appreciate that so much. Um, Check us out on all the socials, TNA Beyond. That's for all the socials, TikTok, Twitter, which is X, everything. Like I said, I shouted out my partner earlier from graduating college. I like this episode. This is one of my favorite episodes I did so far. Well, I ain't gonna say one of my favorite, but like currently, I had fun doing this episode, especially when I start talking about my favorite moments in wrestling. Bruh, tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is the day that Mortal Kombat 1 finally fucking released. And I can't wait. I'm finna get lost in it. I'm finna be on that jump for at least 10 hours, bro. At least 10 hours. Going in training mode, which is the lab, going to the lab, trying to lab and see what character I like to see fit. That's best fit with me. They go online, try to get my first win, and jump and do story mode. Now after I finish doing that story mode shit, I ain't doing that shit no more. It's strictly online. But like I said, I appreciate everybody for listening. And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.